everybody. In this video, you will be learning about nullable types and null coalescing operator in C#. The agenda of my video will be definition of nullable type, more information on a nullable type, the GetValueOrDefault method, nullable type members, and what is null coalescing operator. So let's get straight to it. First, I'm going to talk about the definition of a nullable type. Basically, the nullable type allows you to assign a null value to a variable. And nullable types can only work with value types, not with reference types because it already contains a null value. So, if we are working with a string that is a reference type, we can directly assign it a null value. But if we are working with a value type, take an example of integer, we cannot assign a null value to it. We have to make it a nullable type. So let's understand why do we need a nullable type with an example. So assume that you have a screen in which you have a text input. So in the text input, the user has to enter the count of something. Okay, and if we don't assign, if the user doesn't give any value in the text input box, then the integer will take the default value, right? So if the integer takes the default value, there will be confusion if that's what the user has entered. So for that not to happen, we can use a nullable type. And we can make the integer a nullable type. So if the user doesn't enter anything, the value of that variable is going to be null. So the nullable type concept is basically not compatible with the var keyword. The syntax for how we can use a nullable type, there are two ways of how we can use a nullable type. The first way is nullable and then open up an angled bracket, the data type, close the angled bracket, and then variable name equal to null. The other way of doing that is first data type and then a question mark, the variable name equal to null. So let's understand this with an example. So here I'm saying nullable, opening up a square bracket, integer, that is the data type in our example, integer, and then closing the square bracket. Basically, nullable is a generic class. You will learn in detail about generic classes in one of my later videos. So like I was saying, after that, the variable name equals null. The second way of how we can do this is first with data type, that is integer again, and question mark, the variable name equal to null. Okay, so next I'm going to give you more information on a nullable type. So a nullable type is incompatible with its non-nullable type. Basically what this means is that we cannot have an operation between a nullable type and a non-nullable type. For example, here I'm declaring a nullable integer type x and assigning that the value of 4. After that, I'm declaring another integer variable that is a non-nullable type y and assigning that the value of 3. After that, there's another variable, an integer variable that is non-nullable z and assigning the value of x multiplied by y. So you can see that there's an error. And then after that, I'm writing on the console z.toString. So here the variable x is nullable and y is not nullable. So the program is going to give a compile-time error. So what we can do to avoid this error is we need to declare all the variables as nullable in the following code. So here, what I'm doing is I'm changing y to a nullable type, while before it was not. And again, assigning it the value of 3. After that, I'm changing z also to a nullable type and assigning the value of x multiplied by y. So the error is gone. After that, I'm printing on the console z.toString. So, like I have already discussed that no operation of a nullable type is possible with a non-nullable type. but we can always compare a nullable type with a non-nullable type. So let's understand this with an example. Here I'm declaring a nullable integer variable x and assigning that the value of 3. After that, I'm declaring another integer variable that is non-nullable y and assigning that also the value of 3. After that, I'm using an if statement to check if x is equal to y. Then, if it is, I'm writing on the console x is equal to y. Else, I'm writing on the console x is not equal to y. So, this code snippet works fine with the not equal to operator also. Let's look at an example. Here, I'm again declaring an integer nullable variable x and assigning that the value of 3. After that, I'm declaring another integer variable that is non-nullable and assigning that the value of 3 also. Then I'm using an if statement to check if x is not equal to y. And if it is not equal, we are writing on the console that x is not equal to y. Else we are writing on the console x is equal to y. So this even works with all the comparison operators. Next, I'm going to talk about the GetValueOrDefault method. So basically, the GetValueOrDefault method is used to get an original assigned value if the variable value is not null. So you will get the default value if the variable's value is null. So let's understand this with an example. Here I'm declaring an integer that is nullable and it's called z and assigning that the value of null. After that, we are printing on the console z.getValueOrDefault. So what will happen is we're going to be on the console, the output is going to be 0. That's because the default value of an integer is 0. Okay, so if the variable was not a nullable type, we'll get an error. So let's look at an example. Here I'm declaring an integer that is non-nullable z and assigning that the value of null. After that, I'm writing on the console z.getValueOrDefault. So you can see that there is an error where we are assigning the null value to the integer and while we are saying z.getValueOrDefault. So this has proven that the getValueOrDefault method only works with nullable types. So here we are assigning null value to this integer z. If we have given any other value, like for example 10, then also there will be an error. And even in this above example, here if we would have assigned 10 to this nullable integer variable z, then I would have been printed on the console 10. So only if the variable value is null, then it takes the default value of the data type. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the nullable type members. Basically, there are two nullable type members that are hash value and value. First, I'm going to explain about hash value. So, hash value returns a boolean value and it is set to true when the variable contains a non-null value. Else, it will be false. So, let's understand this. So, what I'm doing first is I'm declaring a nullable integer variable x and assigning that the value of 10. After that, I'm saying if x.hasValue, then I'm writing on the console value is not null. So what this code says is that if x has value, then we're printing on the console that value is not null. Next, I'm going to talk about value. So basically, value contains the data stored in a nullable type. For example, here I'm declaring a nullable integer variable x and assigning that the value of 5. After that, by using an if statement, I'm checking if x has value. And if it has value, I'm writing on the console x.value.choose3. So x.value, so what this means is that it prints on the console the value of x. So the value of x is 5. So the value of x, that is 5, will be printed on the console. Next, I'm going to talk about the null coalescing operator. So the null coalescing operator is declared by the double question mark symbol. So basically, it is used to assign a default value to a variable when the value is null. So it will check whether the value is null, and if it is null, then it will assign the default value to the variable, or else it will assign the actual value to the variable. So what default value means here is not the, for example, integer, the default value of an integer is 0. I'm not talking about that default value, I'm talking about the custom value that is been provided by us. So let's understand the null coalescing operator with an example. Here I'm declaring a string name and assigning that the value of null. And then I'm declaring another string variable, my name, and assigning it the value of name double question mark symbol Akshat. So what this code does is that if the value of name is null, then it will assign the default value that is provided by us to the name variable. And if it is not null, then it will assign the actual value to the name variable. So in this case, the my name variable will hold Akshat. So here I'm showing you an example of string, but this will work for all other integral nullable types also. So now let's see all these concepts in action in Visual Studio. So I'm just going to fire up Visual Studio. So here I fired up Visual Studio and I've created a console application. What I'll do first is I'm going to declare an integer x and assign this a value of null. So we're going to get an error. So the error is that cannot convert null to integer because it's a non-nullable value type. So now to avoid this error, we have to convert this integer to a nullable type. So like I said, there are two ways of how we can do it. So I'm going to show you the first way. So first, nullable data type inside square brackets, angle brackets, and the error is gone. So that was one way. Now let's see how we can do this in the other way. That is just by adding a question mark in the end of data type. So now also there is no error. Now in the next line, I'm going to declare a string and try to directly assign this a null value. Okay, so now you can see that there is no, oh, sorry, I missed to add the variable name. I'm going to call this equal to null. Okay, now there is no error because like I said, string is a reference type and they already have a null value or already support null values. And nullable types are only meant for value types, not for reference types. So now I'm going to just cut the string and I'm going to declare a non-nullable integer int y. I'm going to say equals 10 and int x will have the value of 5. Okay. Now we're going to add these two variables and assign that to another variable. So int z equals x plus y, semicolon. So you can see that there is an error. That is cannot implicitly convert type int, nullable int to integer. An explicit conversion exists, or you're missing a cast. So to avoid this error, we'll have to make all of these data types, all of these data types as null. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Now you can see that the error is gone. Now I'm going to print on the console. So console.python z string. Now let's check what's the output by running our program. So I'm just going to run my program. So you can see that the output on the console is 15. That's because 10 plus 5 is 15. So this is working perfectly fine. So now I'm just going to go ahead and close this. So now I'm going to remove here the declaration of the variable z. Now I'm going to show you how nullable and non-nullable types work with comparison operators. So I'll even remove this and I'll make this a non-nullable type. Now I'm going to type in an if statement. So if I'm going to say x equals to y, then console.writeLine, I want to write x is equal to y, and then an else statement, else console.writeLine. So okay, yeah, console.writeLine x is not equal to y. Now I'm going to run my program and check what's the output. So you can see that the output on the console is that x is not equal to y. So that's perfectly correct. So now this is proven that the nullable nullable and non-nullable types will work perfectly fine with comparison operators. Now, instead of this equality operator, I'm going to change this to greater than operator. And instead of printing x equal to y, I'm going to print x is greater than y. I'm going to copy this. And paste it here. And here, x is not greater than y. So here you can see that there's no error and it works perfectly fine. Now I'm going to explain about the GetValueOrDefault method. So I'm just going to remove all these lines of code. Okay. So now I'm going to write on the console.writeLine x dot GetValueOrDefault. Okay. Brackets. So now we're going to see what's the output by running our program. So I'm just going to run my program. Okay. So you can see that the output on the console is 5, which is correct because this x variable has the value of 5. Now if we try to assign this a null value, let's check what will be the output. So I'm just going to run my program. So you can see that the output on the console is 0. So this has proven that when we are using the GetValueOrDefault method, if the value of the variable is null, then it takes the default value of the data type. In our case, it's an integer and the default value of an integer is 0. So next I'm going to talk about the hash value and value. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this line of code and I'm going to use an if statement to check if x has value. So if x dot has value, then I want to print to the console value is not null. Else I want to print wait else console.writeLine value is null. Now let's check what's the output by running our program. So I'm just going to run my program. just going to drag this down. Okay, so you can see that the output on the console is value is null because the value of x is null. So now if we change this to something like 10, then check what's the output. The output is going to be value is not null. So let's check this by running our program. You can see that the output is value is not null. So basically, has value is to check whether a nullable variable has value. Next, I'm going to talk about value. So what I'm going to do first is here, I'm going to remove this and I'm going to type in x, that is our variable x dot value, and I'll check what's the output by running our program. So I'm just going to run our program. So you can see that the value of x is displayed on the console. So it is 10. Next, I'm going to talk about the null coalescing operator. What I'll do first is I'm going to declare another integer that is non-nullable, and I'm going to name this y and assign this the value of x and then the null coalescing operator, and I'm going to say 25. So what this code says is that we are assigning x the default value, the variable x the default value of 25. So basically, it only takes this default value if the value of the variable x is null. And if it is not null, it takes the actual value, that is 10. I mean that the default value 25 is assigned to y only if the value of x is null, or else it's going to be assigned, y is going to be assigned the actual value of x. Now I'm going to print on the console, just a second, yeah, I'll just remove all that code. I'm going to print on the console the value of x. The value of y, I'm sorry. Now let's check what's the output by running our program. So I'm just going to run our program. So now you can see that the output on the console is 10. That's because the value of x is a non-nullable value and it is taking the value of x, that is 10, and assigning that to y. Now let's look at what's going to happen if we assign a null value to x. So null. Now let's check what's the output by running our program. So you can see that the value of y is 25. So basically this is because the value of x is null and y is taking the default value. So now I hope you're clear about nullable types, and the null coalescing operator. So that's it for this video, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more. Goodbye till the next video.